Hey, how's it going? Listen, it's been a busy day around this place here. Today, we're going to jump into another great topic. Without further ado, let's roll that intro. Hey there, Bruce back again for Blackboard Rules. Today we're going to be talking about my rules for playing live gigs. We're also going to be talking about some etiquette things that will help you get along with the other musicians and build your relationships in the music industry. Number one, always be early to the gig. You know, when I have a gig that I'm about to play, I like to arrive with plenty of time before the show or even the sound check, so then I'm not rushing around doing stuff. Also, it's a good idea just because if there's any issues that come up while you're setting up or while the sound check or anything like that is going on, then you actually have time to deal with those issues. Number two, if you show up to your gig and there's a backline already provided, whether it be just a drum set or some guitar amps or keyboards for you to play on, make sure you treat the gear with respect. If you want to make any kind of adjustments to the gear, whether it's moving stands up and down for the cymbals or changing some of the tone settings on the guitar amp or even changing some of the patches on the keyboard, find out who that gear belongs to first. It might belong to the production company. It might also belong to another musician who's offered to let their gear be used for the bands that day. So definitely find out who it belongs to and then ask if it's okay to make those adjustments. You know what? Most of the time it usually is. But you know, you'd never go into somebody's house and just start rearranging their living room furniture, would you? So it's common respect, it's being polite, and it'll actually help to build the relationships with any other musicians that you may be working with there, in case there's more than one band. Even if you're working with soundmen or lightmen, you'll actually garner a little bit more respect for yourself because you've actually asked before you start touching stuff. Number three, and this may sound like a little bit of a hard pill for some of you to swallow, but if you have been invited by a more established band to open up or warm up the crowd for them, it's usually kind of a unwritten rule that the opener, you, will receive half the PA and half the lights. Now don't get your knickers in a knot. This is usually just because the headliner or more established act has usually taken more responsibility. They're the ones that have put out the promotion for the gig. They're the ones who have probably rented the PA and some of the lights and some of the other gear to put on the show. So they've taken more of a risk. So it's something that you probably just have to accept. It doesn't mean that you don't do your best, but you're there to do a job. Number four, if you are the opening act, you will usually be given a certain time period to perform within. Make sure that you stick within those guidelines. Even if you think that the crowd is really into you, you know what? You're the opener, so if you've been given 25 minutes to play, watch your time and make sure that you always act within that, because you're actually respecting the headliner's rules, and then you'll probably be invited back to open for them again. Remember, someday you'll be the headliner, and then you may want someone to respect your rules too. Number five, and here's a little bit of insider information for you. If you're playing a club somewhere and there's a house sound man and or a house light man there as well, before you actually get up to perform, it's a real good idea to go over and introduce yourself to them. You know what? It's also not a bad idea if you offer them a refreshment, if you buy them a drink or a beer. Or, you know what, in some situations you may want to drop them a tip. This kind of ensures that you are going to get a half decent sound when you're on stage. And if there's a light man there too, you're going to get a decent looking light show. It's all about building relationship and actually honoring people for what they do. Number 6, and this is quite an important thing. Don't be a diva or a prima donna. You know what? Nobody wants to work with someone with a huge ego. They just don't. They'd rather work with people that they can get along with. So, as proud as you are of your performance or what you're doing or your band, don't lord that over people because it actually really ticks them off. It's always best to try and get along with people for the most part if you can. But don't act like you're the most special person in the room, because it usually doesn't fly very well for you. Numero 7. Always help other people. Listen, if you're at the gig and you've finished setting up and you've finished doing your sound check or getting ready and you really have nothing else to do, you know what? If you see your bandmate or somebody who maybe needs a hand moving something, or maybe helping to plug in a mic cord or something to help the soundman out, you know what? Take a minute and do it. What's it going to hurt? In fact, all it's going to do is help build your reputation that you're an okay person and that you're a person that can probably be relied on a little bit more. You know what? Don't be afraid to go out of your way to help others. Number 8, and this is my final point today, always give your all when performing. It doesn't matter if there's 2 people in the crowd or 200 people. Make sure you always give 100% for your performance. Because today there might be just 2 people there, but tomorrow there will be 50 people there or 100. And those people that see you giving your all every time you play will be sure and tell other people. And that'll just help grow your following. Well, thanks for joining me here today. And once again, I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you did, give us a big thumbs up down below. And also, smack that subscribe button and hit the little bell beside it. That way you'll get notifications of all the new videos that we put out. Also, if you have any ideas for products that you'd like to see us review or some topics that you'd like to see us discuss, let us know. Put them in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So once again, I'm Bruce for Blackboard Rules, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's roll the outro.